initially. And for me, it kind of felt like, oh, I want to just do all of it, you know? And I think what was helpful to me is kind of looking and understanding the differences in those fields and figuring out like maybe a focus that I can be really good at. And so for me, what I chose was, okay, I want to be really good at prototyping, and some of that will help with my front end skills, and it's just something I also just really enjoy. And so finding out this, I don't know if I learned this from you, but is it like the T intersection, or the T, right, is like the top bar of the T is like the breadth, like how much breadth that you have
Right.
in your design skills, and then finding that the vertical bar is like figuring out what you can specialize in and like really contribute and be the subject matter expert, so that people come to you for help in that, and that you can kind of offer your services. And I think the sooner that you can figure that out can be really good, because then you can use that to help other people and make these connections.
So we'll say one is find a specialty.
Find a specialty, yeah.
What would you say two is?
Two is I think, let's see. I think the perfection is the enemy of good is a good one. Like a focus on learning initially, not on making things perfect.
Got it.
Because I think when you're new, you'll just always make mistakes. I think that's part of being new is making mistakes along the way. So what you think is perfect can be actually really far from what is perfect. And I think, as you get better, maybe that gap closes in a little bit, but focus on learnings, I think is pretty good.
Totally agree. Get as much experience as you can, specialize, learn, and try not to be perfect. Be comfortable with failing, because that's where the learning happens. How about three?
Three? Oh man. All right. Now, all right. Three is, I think in this, at least the Silicon Valley field or Silicon Valley area or tech, sure. There's, like you're not at a job for like 10, 12 years anymore. And so I think making sure that you keep like your relationships and network strong. Like I think there's when you're in a startup, it can feel really easy to want to burn the bridge and just, if you're having a very aggressive discussion about something, I think it's important to scope out a little bit and focus, like, ultimately the Valley and the tech industry is small, and you need these relationships. So I've seen people burn the bridge before, and it's not pretty, and it's not like, it doesn't really help you, I think. So I think when I think about careers, I think about like, am I going to have a good relationship with my manager? Will my manager go to bat for me? If she's at another company, he or she is at another company, like, will that be helpful to me? And, and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. That kind of rambled towards the end, but
No, that's fine.
I think like making sure to keep good relationships with the people that you work with.
No, I think that's some great advice. Absolutely. Be prepared to fail, and play well in the sandbox.
Right.
It is such a small community, and
Mm-hmm.
Burning bridges. There's the saying, "Let the light from the burning bridge light, or let the burning bridge light the way. It's so not the case. You really,
Whoa, I've never heard that.
yeah, yeah.
What does that mean? What is the
Oh, it's kind of the I don't I was a meme or whatnot, but it's sort of a it's one that I don't think you should subscribe to.
Sure. Yeah.
Always play well in the sandbox. It is a small community, and at the end, we all want as designers want the same thing. We want to create a product that is it's an overused term, but it's delightful, right? It's
Yeah.
easy to use. It does what it says it does, and it just works, right? It
Yeah.
just works.
Yeah.
So, what are your future plans or dream job, or like what's the big goal for you?
Geez, for me, I'm still trying to figure that out right now. I would say, I think a lot about actually what you're doing with being, a digital nomad. That sounds pretty exciting or enticing, at least. I think right now, in the most immediate future, I want to kind of build up my specialty a little bit more, and see how deep I can take it, like how good I can really be at this, and how much of a value and service that will provide. I'm kind of betting on that playing out to be, more valuable, I guess, I'm betting on that at least to be in the future, more valuable in the future. So I think most immediately I'm going to work on that. Right now, I just wrapped up a contract at Intuit. So right now, taking a break from work. I'm taking 3 classes at CCSF, so on some JavaScript and HTML, CSS, or mobile HTML, CSS, and JavaScript libraries. And so just kind of figuring out how deep that interest goes. And I think ideally, if that goes well, then you'll hopefully hear from me being the prototyping specialist. And I would like to take that skill and help companies get ideas, materialize ideas as quick as possible. So, maybe some consulting on that side. I think that would be really fun.
I think that sounds fantastic, and I just want to summarize because I think that's what a lot of designers that I've talked to want as well. The ability to travel the world and with only a laptop and continue to work, continue to make money working for clients and working on projects that they enjoy working on, and preferably at a very early stage, right? Coming in at the beginning, helping companies or startups materialize from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. That is definitely the dream. And
pretty much what you're doing, right, Ben?
well, I will say, the first 2 months, right? So I'll just say this, and we'll talk about this in later episodes, but becoming a digital nomad wasn't exactly my choice. It just the living in San Francisco just got a little bit too chaotic, and I started to just want quality of life above all things.
Yeah.
And I just decided to go for it and hit Hawaii. And I started off in the Big Island and worked my way to Waikiki, and then eventually the North Shore where I am now, and then Luxembourg, and then New York City. And I have to tell you, the first 2 months, I was scared. I was really scared. Like, I don't have a home base, and But once I got over the fear, and again, it took me 2 months. Once I finally got over that, I realized, like, oh my God, I have so much freedom. Everything's going to be fine, and I can literally go anywhere in the world. So I'm thinking about going to New Zealand for a month in December, just to see what that's like and continue to work.
Wow.
And
cool.
Yeah. It's Airbnb seems to be cheaper than San Francisco rent. So
oh my gosh, so crazy.
So crazy. Um, cool. I guess the last thing I want to say, Brian, is one of the things that I don't think enough designers talk about is how do you become a good designer, and it's sort of the old adage: how do you become a good writer? It's write. How do you become a good designer? It's design.
Yep.
I think that creating really good habit patterns. I always say that if you got a sketch pad, or if you get a legal pad, or put it by your remotes at home, right next to your TV, in between commercials, sketch something. Sketch every day. I know some people use designer sketchbook as an interview piece, right? Let me see your sketchbook. I want to see the inner workings of your brain. I think number one, create a sketchbook and design as often as possible, even if you're just creating geometric shapes, but you're working out that muscle every day. Number two, it's find patterns, right? Look, as you're navigating the web, you're like, oh, wow, I like what Pinterest did here. Take a screenshot, save it, right? Create patterns as you surf the web. I find really cool things all the time. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way to have a drawer or an accordion or a hover card, or I like what they did here. I'll screen grab it and I'll save it. And anyway, there's a lot of other habits. Do you have any specific habits that you've started now just to keep your chops up?
I think when I see right now, my current interest is when I see like animations or motions in UI. That I think that seems to be still fairly new, and so anytime I see it, I think about I do it over and over, and I keep thinking about like how can I make this, or how can I prototype something like this, and so I try to take a screen grab or a video of that animation happening, and I think about it later about like how did they do this, and it just so yeah.
Awesome. Well, Brian, I really thank you so much for your time. Where can we find, if we want to find out more about you, we want to see your portfolio, tell us where to go.
Brian, BrianJoei.com.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing your experience with us. This has been fantastic.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Absolutely. And folks, as always, we're going to be doing these once a week. We're going to have different guests on every week, different topics. It is brand new. Your host needs a little bit more experience too. So I'm going to get better each and every week. And as always, you can find us on Twitter at IA_UXJOBS or at UXJOBS.io. And with that, have a fantastic day, and we will end it right there.